Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, innovating, and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host, ImperialDane, the one, the only master propaganda hero, like defender of the fatherland, off here to a 2v2 on Belgorod. In the west, it is Max and Silenthit fighting here for the Red Army, the Soviet Union, Communist Stalin, and the 7th Guards Tank Corps here with combined arms, got motor defensive. More defensive, Tank Hunter and combined arms. In the east it is Mr. Sipan, and the one, the only ImperialDane himself, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Forming up here with the 78th Sturm Grenadier Division, with Encirclement for me, with ambush training, stormtroopers, break supply line, breakthrough, and close the pocket. We got Sipan here with elite armored, overwatch, and special operations. Grenadier MU42 for me. Double holster here for Sipan, penal troopers there for Max, and W's Maximum here for Silenthit. We got Max with Guard Motor. Not a particularly surprising choice there. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my Patreon supporters. Without them and their support, the Propagandacast would not be possible. So big thanks goes to every single one of those. Other people can join the ranks by Patreon, or they can donate via PayPal. Links in the description. Another way to support is pre-ordering companies free through the link in the comments and using the code STUG3G, full caps. That can also help me out. Then finally, just comment, like, share, subscribe. But anyways, enough about that. We got action going here. We got Tank Hunter for Silenthit. Wow. Spicy. With constant PHS packages, anti-tank fortifications, ambush tactics, B4 howitzers, and the anti-tank bombing run here. Engineers right in the center here. Steady approach here across a wider frontage. We got Maxim's out here as well for Silenthit. An interesting opening here with double punions there for Max in the south here. Mr. Sipan there is pushing into him in the south here. Encountering not too much resistance. Fairly broad approach here from as well. Heading northwards here. Spotting the Maxim. Quickly pulling back with the Grenadiers. And up north the MU42 Pioneer support. Halting the Engineers here up north. First conscript out there for Silenthit and the Red Army. A lot of action across the entire front line here as everyone gets to business. Scout car on the way there for Max. The M3A1. Grenadiers holding up here. Further northwards their machine gun Pioneers moving forward here. Looking to threaten the fuel point already. Grenadiers arriving. Obviously, I'm trying to figure out, if he's moved them at maximum. If so, where has he moved it? But at the same time, trying to push for the fuel point. Third Grenadiers calling for me. We'll have to see what Mr. Sipan goes for. As for Max, scout car. And there we go. We finally got the final commander. These elite armored with the 2-1. Emergency repairs. Panzer commander, heat shells, and the Storm Tiger. Up north, heat troops push back. Going for the northern fuel point there with the Grenadiers. Again, Max, I know, is roughly there, so 3rd Grenadier Squad should assist there. In the south here, Max is making fairly good progress here versus Mr. Sipan so far. The Scout Car Penal Trouble combo came a bit tricky there for the Oberkommanders in the early game to deal with, though that might be why he went for elite armor, so he can push out a 2-1 to hit back at the Soviets. It's a bit of light skirmishing between Max and Mr. Sipan. North here, Maximum positioning, Grenadiers arriving, meaning they're busy up north as well. And there you go, Scout going for the Fulton Grenadiers. Penal engaging the Fulton Grenadiers as well. We got the 3rd Penal Squad here for Max and the Red Army. 2-1 almost on there for Mr. Sipan. Silenthit there. We'll have to see what it goes for. I imagine more conscript squads here. Max there being now engaged by the Grenadiers from both sides here. And also got takedown his canned rifle grenade as well here. And there we go. Pop goes the Weasel. Maxim completely caught off guard. He out of position entirely. 3rd Grenadiers were around from north here as well. Here catching Silenthit there in a pretty dreadful spot here. Could cost on the Maxim here. Probably won't. Gonna use that. Also engaged by comms on the flanking gears with the flamethrower doing what they can. More comms down the way. And we got rifle grenades from the gears here. Demolishing Boris and Dimitri in the southeast. Though Max here with the scout car is causing Mr. Sipan a bit of a tough time for now, but the 2-1 sees it lit on fire, and now the penal troops are quite vulnerable here to the 2-1 as they have no anti-tank weapons available. He can call in a guard squad here very soon with anti-tank rifles, at least that way. Pressure Mr. Sipan in the scout car, I imagine he will do so. Meanwhile, the fighting around the car front continues here, and there we go, guard squad out for Max. Machine gun busy up north here, should consider adding some ambush camouflage here. Like to make a nice company going out for me. Scout car falling back here. And he's holding up here, and we got troops sitting out there for Silenthit. 251 half-track on the way there. From a nearby Panzer Division, as the 7th, 8th Sturm Grenadier Division was heavily equipped. In a lot of ways, it was not equipped with half-tracks. That made it a Panzer Grenadier Division. Rather high quality. Rifling on the guardsman here. He is quick to dodge it here. Still, I got a pretty extended front line here, to be honest. Up north, Maxim here with support from the comps going for the machine gun up north. Again, no ambush camouflage here. It makes it much easier for the surges to run at it. Sorry about that sneeze. Need to retreat the machine gun now. Simply too many there. Half-track arriving here. And he's going to pop into it. The Mittlere Schützenpanzerwagen. Kaufmann being hit as well. Penal troopers. There you go. Maxim sent running. Armored coming north at sea. Good to start to play there against Mr. Sipan. Assault rifles only for his troops. Also got 8 Panzerschreck here. Pioneers thinking about here, looking to suss out what Silenthit and Max might be doing around the center. Up north, he's going pretty aggressively forwards. No anti-tank grenades or anything like that. Rushing in with a half-track and launch a flank assault there. Meanwhile, Mr. Sipan is moving very slowly, not applying a lot of pressure on the opponent here. Obviously wants to move ahead in a large formation, but this also means, for example, Max can more freely just say respond to my assault here, where I try to overwhelm the Maxim with speed and furious firepower. And now, as you might notice, Mr. Sipan is not quite following up here. This allows Max to swoop into my flank here. Then he's back to get wiped out here. Need trunking force here. And the half-track, unfortunately. Again, this is one of my issues with the pathing in Companies 2. It is, quite frankly, at times a bit bizarre. And, of course, for some infantry, you see they just move about in with a half-track. Clearly shouldn't be disturbing their pathing. They'll still do it. There you go. One gun of this called wipe half-track about to get knocked out. Mr. Sipan, meanwhile, as you might notice, isn't really doing anything. And there we go. I suffered heavy losses here as Max swung into me. In part because, again, just Mr. Sipan there just wasn't really achieving a lot of pressure. Of course, now he's got no resistance. He can move ahead freely, but it's coming at a fairly high cost to me. Storms being out here with MP40s on the way there. Fresh troops coming up from the base as well there. Adding ambush camouflage finally. So, pretty horrid development there for me, obviously. Pretty horrid. Armored car there versus the penal troopers there. And of course you could argue it should not extend it so much, but at the same time, the problem is that the Wehrmacht, in particular the kind of place that I have just at about there, I'm not going to do a lot there. I'm just going to be a waste of manpower. Like, you got to be aggressive, in my opinion. That's all how my builds and my tactics are focused around. Which does require at least my teammates can somewhat, reliably support. And that also, highlights the importance of, good teammate synergies, similar play styles. So obviously there's a bit of a disconnect between me and Mr. Sipan in playstyles, where I'm definitely much more aggressive, which of course is a bit ironic because the Oberkommandant is assigned to be the most aggressive faction. North team moving ahead steadily, their machine catching the counters up there, Glennie's moving forwards, Pioneers advancing. Maxim setting out here in the open. Mortar out there for Silenthit, a bit of light artillery there, still a lot of infantry from him though. Pioneers rushing in here, hoping to cause a bit of a mess there for Silenthit. Up north, push back here, Glennie's arriving. Max with a bunch of peons from the south here. Mr. Sipan encountering some resistance, losing ground. And I'm adding a Panzer Grenadier escort here because I want some anti-tank weapons. I do prefer the Panzerschrecks. MG-35 here for Mr. Sipan, getting bombarded here by the sword. That was a direct hit there by the mortar, by the way. Tank out there for Silenthit. And we got one from Max as well. They're fairly close there in terms of timings. Another push forward to the fuel point here. Since, again, if you can, dominate the early fuel game, you can typically gain yourself some fairly nice advantages. Another reason I tend to prefer more aggressive tactics and strategies, because, again, if I can, leverage a fuel advantage on my opponent, that means I can armor faster and apply pressure better. Plus, of course, make it hard for them just to hit me with light vehicles. We can see the Silenthit and Max are already responding to this, as Silenthit is going for the half-track, and I'd not be surprised if Max might also be planning a half-track himself. So that could very well be 2 anti-aircraft half-tracks up from the Soviets, though so far Max might be playing the T-70 after all. South here once more, Mr. Sipan is pushed back. There we go. Max does ultimate with the M5 half-track. Up north here, machine gun in ambush mode now. It is arriving. Panzer Grenadier sitting out, and there you go, adding the Panzerschreck. Additionally, with Encirclement, you can of course upgrade with ambush camouflage. Plus, to get sprint, so you can sort of get a bit more extra Panzerschreck utility in that sense out of Encirclement here. North here, machine gun grenadiers attacking into the Soviets here. And flanking from the south here with the Panzerjägers, the Pioneers, and the Stormtroopers here, catching Silenthit's position in a pretty bad spot. These entire forces effectively suppressed. We got the half to their court mount is almost ready. And there you go. You can see here Silenthit's men are being absolutely ripped apart. Come on, Ludwig! Just pull the trigger and shoots them. I mean, look at that. They're crawling on the ground like bugs. Bugs Bunny? Not insects. Oh. After there with 1 kill so far, that's definitely going to slow down my further advances. In the south here, Mr. Sipan striking back here at Max. There's a lot of heavy swings back and forth in the south between Max and Mr. Sipan in that sense, after they're being upgraded. Up north, continuing units moving in there, Panzer checks their team holding up, and there we go. MD-42, they're unleashing hell upon the advancing conscripts with the Incendiary piercing rounds. Flanked with the guardsmen, popping the Incendiary piercing rounds. Probably shouldn't be doing this, to be honest. This is a bad call by me. Now I'm going to position another flank there by Max, but there you go, still getting some damage on the half-track, trying to spin for the grenades and the Panther-fast, but it's too fast here. And I'm about to lose the machine gun. In the south here, guards from the flank here, half-track as well there from Max. Once more hard swing here from Mr. Sipan for the south. But once more, as you might notice, I'm about to suffer fairly heavily here as Max is once more able to just quickly swing away from Mr. Sipan and into me, further causing me heavy casualties again. In this case, I'm about to lose an MD-42. Mr. Sipan moving in there, but ultimately isn't quite as speedily able to react. Take those down for me, and I'll of course be rushing for armor. In fact, I'm down to just a bit of infantry and some pioneers now. Not a great development for me here. Rafting it off here on the machine gun there. Armor coming in. We got 10 kills till it's virtually free here. MD-34 force the troops in the center here. Almost got the MD-42 there. Can he finish it off? There we go. But we got Max moving up here up north here. Anti-aircraft chapter, of course, roaming about. Catching the pins from the guards from there, routing them. And we got a truck up. That'll be the Schwer Panther quarters there from Mr. Sipan. Mortifying the MD-34 and the Volksgrenadiers. Support core there, halfway done. After roaming about. Of course, you notice again the two half-techs allow them to quick swing around because the half-techs do have an immense amount of DPS for light vehicles. When compared with the flamethrower half-tech, which, you know, roughly costs the same. And you might notice there's a bit of a difference there. Support weapon company out there for Max. Army car going straight for the Pumas there, gaining virtually 3. 13 kills there, half-tech moving up. Smoke popped. North here we got the MD-Fed force engineers here. North they're going for a attempted deeper flank here, swinging around for the north. Support on my core up. Might go for an Osman Panther 4 here. Could also go for the Stuk, but considering my overall state of my infantry at the moment, I definitely want something that help deal with infantry for me. So I'm more likely to go for a Panther 4 here than a Stuk 3G, at least short term. And there you go, Panther 4 on the way for me. Getting up the first tank here on the field. Medium, that is. In fact, the first tank entirely. Partly again because of that aggressive early fuel control. I've been able to that way, you know, rush out a tank in a sense while ensuring my opponents can't easily respond with tanks in kind. That way, gaining a bit of an advantage there, which can hopefully then make up for the losses I've suffered here due to getting ganged up by Max and Silenthit at the same time. We've got tank traps here from Silenthit. I'm always slightly wondering what command he's gone for because, you know, I've seen bits and pieces here, but I can't quite put the pieces together there. And we got a bunker up there. Definitely a rare side here from a Soviet player, but Silenthit clearly is going some different ways here. So I'd say so far this is a match with some surprises here and there. Some less seen stuff. The sun's happening up. Also got mines here from Max. Very good. Mr. Sipan with Opposite Darden. Excellent addition there, of course. Got the Panther 4 out. Adding the pinler-mounted MG-42. So players dug in. A lot of fortifications, defenses here from Silenthit. Got the tank traps, bunkers, barbed wire, mortars, machine guns, sandbags. Lining up for another push up north, exploiting the fact that most players tend to, like, basically not see this as a part of the map. So if you make use of this part of the terrain, well, you can actually, like, really catch some players off guard. Heading the half-track up north part, which he left utterly isolated up north here. Panther 4 stopping up, shoots and misses at near point-blank range. That is definitely a bit of an annoying moment there. Second shot misses as well. They're just quickly backing off now. Tagging from the north, though, he swinging around, trying to hit flank here, which is, of course, wildly exposed. He's laying down more tank traps here. Catching a lot of Silenthit's force in a bad spot. In the south, he misses a punt, and Max continued to sort of slap back and forth with no major progress. Meanwhile, the assault here continues. Stormtroopers popping tactical advance here. Wiping out here, Silenthit's maximum control, also at a high risk of getting wiped out here. Unleashing more hell here on Silenthit here. The Panther 4 push ahead here for Deutschland. Step on it, Heinz! But here's the Russians being crushed beneath my treads. I'm not. Gives me nightmares. Oh, grow up. Bunker, they're about to get knocked up, but there you go. Hold off the Maxim. Got a wipe there, in fact, several wipes there. Slightly making up for the loss they're suffering. Meanwhile, he misses Sipan with another head-on assault here against Max. Pumes was guards, and they're doing what they can alongside the field gun, ripping apart Sipan's men there in the center. He's basically the opposite Darden. Panther 4 there with 6 kills, closing in the veterans 1, and we got the 223 on the fuel point. Thumbs up there to Mr. Sipan. That is very good. Panther 4 there rolling ahead. Grab the point here, back here, reinforcing healing. Adding in another Stormtrooper squad for some more infantry to help make up for my losses. I typically prefer having 4 to 5 squads for infantry, personally. Plus, I don't really have fuel for like any armor anyway, so better prioritize what I can get out. Since I still need to make up for all these early losses I've suffered. MD42 there, bar got nailed right back, adding ambush camouflage to that one. Plus on the Maxim, since you can upgrade your other machine guns from other armies with ambush camouflage as well. They tend to work quite well with them, by the way. South here we got Max half to there. We got Insignial Pigeon rounds here from Mrs. Sipan's MD34. Decently timed there. Mechanized armor company up there as well for Max. As for Silenthit, no sign of armor yet. Probably because in part he had to make up some of the loss he just suffered. Placing the Maxim and the conscripts. Max on the car punch, storming forwards here, flanking from the south. Backed up with the Maxim, more storms nearby, catching the mortar crew here. Half at the wing in to block off that. Attacking from as many angles as I can here against Silenthit and the south here. Meanwhile, Mr. Sipan and Max, they're also in a devilish duel of wits. And there you go, half of those stops up the infantry assault here. Panther 4 still being repaired for me, but there you go, pushing ahead. Rolling ahead, T2's being suppressed by the half track. And forming chain onto the field gun, that's the big priority. Gets hit by an anti-tank grenade there, infantry following up. Almost got the field gun here. Almost. Panther 4 getting stuck up in front of it. Further casualties being inflicted on Silenthit in the south here. Misses Sipan with a second wave infantry against Max, who's now again once more starting to switch forces northwards. Panther 4 getting marked up as well. Counter squad close being wiped out. And once more, Mr. Sipan just kind of goes ahead, even as Max is sort of pulling ahead here towards me. Almost got the field gun wiped again. But there it goes, second field gun from Max, knocks out my Panther 4. Sturmgeschütz as on the way for me, troop reinforcing healing. And we do have a Panther on the way for Mr. Sipan in the German army. 364 versus 290. Swiftly advancing in the center as well there. Stug 3G, 1/3 of the way done. And we got here Max adding in a heavy mortar for some extra artillery there. Gives them 2 mortars. We got 1 line for gun there from Mrs. Sipan. And obviously, I could benefit from a mortar myself and probably should have considered one, honestly. Thumbs down there to me on that account. North, meanwhile, MD42 going at it. Focusing down the field gunners is a bigger priority. In fact, I'm popping some pigeon rounds here. At which point, things start to really go south here for Sunny's attacks into an ambush machine with incendiary pigeon rounds and heavy cover here. Really doing some heavy damage here to him. Again, you might notice incendiary armor pigeon rounds on the MD42 are amazing. Really, as I keep saying, you really should use them more if you're playing as the Wehrmacht. Or you capture one from the Wehrmacht. In this case, though, I did make one mistake, which causes, it's too low in health. Got mortared to death there, so obviously less great for me now. Silenthit's going to probably grab it. I do try to make the Pantaloons and the Maxims to stop that, but I think that is going to be insufficient. We'll get a bomb grenade here. Maybe that'll save the day. It's like it did. Panther Shrek team, though, getting absolutely mauled here by the T-54 from 6. Loses almost the entire unit. Maxim, by the way, accidentally retreats. I did not intend to retreat that one there. Troops forcing healing. In the center, we got Mrs. Sipan's Panther at the ready. Wrecked the machine gun there because at this point, I don't want to have them to have an MD42, so it's for the MD42 at 6-man is just an absolute nightmare to deal with as the Wehrmacht most of the time. Sipan Sturmpioneer basically wrecking heavy cover there, tank traps in this case. Second Sturmgeschütz on the way for me. In the south here, Mrs. Sipan with a fairly large infantry complement. Could be swinging up here. We'll of course have to see what he does. Panthers all being used to help wreck tank traps here. Lining up for another attempted flank up north, at least for now. And of course have to see what Mr. Sipan is planning next. In the south, the Piums of Garfers, the Fulton Grenadiers. First engineers, the Piums of the Atlantic 14 need to pop into the Piums and MD Fed 4, I think. Observer there. Number squad number 2 there. This is going to give him a lot of infantry, which definitely puts some serious pressure on the Soviets. South here, Piums was the Fulton Grenadiers here. North here, attempting another flank. You can see they're already now starting hits moving towards the center. Heavy fire then the penal troopers. Starting to realize I may need to support my teammate with armor. So I'm switching the Stukes away from the north here. Bit risky, honestly, and this guy ends up messing with my timing here. Basically mess up because of this. My mistake. Obviously, in this regard, Stukes into the field gun. So yeah, this is a complete mess up there. I mean, as just, you know, my mind just tried to do two things at the same time, which causes everything to just fall apart there. Basically, thumbs down to me on that one. That was just poorly conceived. I should have stuck to like one thing or the other. And I just, you know, didn't do that. So, big misplay there by me. In the south, he misses a pan pushing 40, catching the Piums on the retreat here with the Sturmgewehr wielding Volksgrenadiers. Heavy mortar fire landing close to them. T-35 on the way there for Max. That's for Silenthit. Got that one T-35 up, but so far nothing else. At this point, I am slightly reconsidering my overall planning here versus the Soviets, and particularly since now I do have access to close the pocket. That is definitely having me to reconsider my plans here and switch to a secondary plan approach here. Sturmgeschütz being fixed up. Basically, in this case, if I can hit these two cutoff points, in most cases this cutoff point around here, I can basically cut the surge from most of the territories and then crash them and close the pocket. Of course, trick is hitting them both, but it's not impossible. Of course, you really need for the north side, I need this one. There's not really a lot in the south you can really need to cut off at this point, but you know, might as well be thorough. So I'm switching more force towards here to make this kind of southern swing there with my Stukes infantry. I'm going to combine it with breakthrough, which besides boosting tank movement and tank rate of fire, including Stukes, also allows them to capture point pretty fast too at that. So there's some potential there as well. So I'm slimming up here. Panzerdick team covering the center. Another bunker up here for Silenthit. No anti-tank conscripts, by not a lot of conscripts in the first place. Pantwing forward, Stukes in support here. Kind of need to be careful I don't mess with the Sipan's Panthers pathing there, of course. That's the pathing in general in this game, of course, is a bit... One thing I'm looking forward to in Company 3 is significantly improved pathing. Storms are pushing forward here, straight at the Strafbad. Meanwhile up north, we can sort of see like a repeat of what happened. Is like, you know, Silenthit isn't particularly reacting. Of course, in this case, it doesn't help. He doesn't know a lot of infantry, so he can't really react to what's going on here. He's like, you know, gone two stacks. In this regard, me and Sipan can, you know, basically hit Max very hard. In this case, it loses a veteran Stormtrooper squad. Armor support was also slow from me here, so could be doing that better. And there we go, breakthrough as well here. Stormtrooper squad number 2 about to get wiped out as well, if I'm not careful. Stukes rolling in here. Got the point they hit off. I'm going for a break supply line on the other point. Stukes backing off here. Good shot there. There we go. And now close the pocket. In this case, I'm not, you know, shut off too much. There's still like, you know, significant amount of units that could be hit for some of the halfway there. The machine gun there gets completely, absolutely hammered into like oblivion. The heavy mortar there gets wiped out. You know, close the pocket. Yes. Easily one of my favorite abilities in the game. I will miss this in Company 3. You can see there Silenthit got fairly punished for playing, you know, too statically in this case. This is why I like close the pocket. You can sort of, you know, punish players who just, you know, get a bit too comfortable. Plus, you know, it just looks cool. And feels like, you know, getting a reward for like nice, mobile, aggressive play when utilized correctly. So, you know. That was nice and definitely hurt Silenthit. Removed a significant threat. Of course, now allows you to make a pretty nice advance here up north. Now that most points of surge resistance have very much been bombed into, like, you know, dust. Calling in a artillery striker to finish off the bunker there under Silenthit's command. T-34's pushing back the Panther with some field gun support. We'll of course have to see what Sipan is planning next. I mean, he's got plenty of fuel and a good amount of manpower. Like, he might be planning for a king target, honestly. Main gun on the Panther knocked out. We also got the B4 firing in here as well now, of course, from Silenthit, causing some heavy damage to Sipan and the nearby squirrels. Stormswing Fort straight into mine. Quite painful there for me. I'm also a bit short in infantry. Definitely should add some replacements. Keep it for that striking forwards. Flanking the Stug here. Francis basically around the centre there. And the south, the also got Max making progress. Austin Flak Panzer to help deal with infantry a bit more aggressively. A bit aggressive with my Stug. Honestly, a bit risky then. I probably shouldn't be doing that up north here. T-45 is the Pioneers. Up further north, ground the point here. Osman on the way there. Slowly arriving for me, but I still need more infantry. Still need more infantry. In the south, Max is quick push back here on Mr. Sipan. Got the Obs on there ripping into his troops though. And his armoured car think, yeah, it's going to have to fall back, but it may actually get knocked out before he can save it. Yup, kaput. We actually get Sipan with a second Panther. Up north, he Stug slashing away with the 3rd Infantry. Panzer Jägers there, Panzer still up north. He also basically Stug, they're being pushed back. Quite a lot of action going for the fuel point again. Looking to once more ensure the soldiers don't get too much, while me and Sipan get as much as possible. Black Panzer there ready. Katyusha on the way there for Max, and for Silenthit might see one as well eventually. Same thing, Sturmgrenadier Division was probably unique for an infantry division. They actually had a full brigade of Stugs attached to it. Little fun fact there. But also Stu 42s, plus those Stugs were also supported by Begleittruppen or escort infantry were equipped with assault rifles. So, in some regards, it was a pretty unique infantry division. South here, we got the Pamping Forts here for Mr. Sipan. Katyusha on the way for Silenthit, in fact, though. Again, he may want to because of, like, more tanks. He's definitely feel like, going for a very static, laid-back approach here. South here, Mr. Sipan looks like he is setting up for some kind of flank. Perhaps that's definitely very smart rather than charging into, like, every gun. Lining up for flank, I think, is much smarter. So, 2 thumbs up there. Panzer Grenadiers on the way for me. Black Panzer moving up. Stugs on the move. There we go. 2 Panthers flanking in. Would like to see some infantry. But obviously going to keep track here. Of course, it's difficult as the Oberkommand West because you don't have transport vehicles and you can't ride tanks. That's Companies 3. B4 here to keep the point clear from any German presence. We get the machine to cover the flank. Stugs, Austrian reserve here, all ready to push forwards. Need to get my troops interaction though. In the south here, Mr. Sipan there is kind of getting spotted on his flank here. Going straight into Max there though. Swinging in for the south here. T-54 being caught with the Stugs and the Austrian being pushed back here. Field and King 40 making use of ambush on it. Nice shot there. Stugs backing off, of course, on the face of the field gun. The south, Sipan's little flank there is also disrupted. He's forced to fall back here. Max, I'm in a pretty bad spot. Need to retreat that one soon. Bring out the Panzer team, the Grenadiers for northern flank by the looks of it. In the south here, Max winging it, backed up the crucial fire here. As Mrs. Sipan's southern positions are crumpling like a cake in a storm. Oh, of course, the question is, why is that cake out in the storm? Who knows? Panther, they're both equipped with the Panzer Commander there. North here, the flank is slowly being lined up. Black Panther tank to the conscripts here. One Stug that is heavily damaged, not in a great spot there, about to get knocked out. That said, his flank is like pretty exposed, as you might have noticed. Got the other Panzer moving in here from the south. And there you go, the assault is on. Silenthit being caught from several notable angles there. Bunkering over the Maxim. Did a bit of damage, not enough though. So here we got the Panther diving straight past Max and Silenthit's weak spots there and going straight for the Panther to call him an artillery strike. 2 thumbs to Mr. Sipan. I think that was a very inspired moment when they realised what's going on and a chance to destroy that. Took it. Very nice play there. Up north, the assault continues. Panther files here. And once more, Silenthit front being pushed back. Panthers flanking in as well, taking out Silenthit. T-5476. Excellent work there as well. Oh, I need to upgrade my Stugs with pinlight machine guns. That's a definite oversight by me. Back here, enforcing. More troops around here from Mrs. Sipan. His Panthers are a bit of risk of being overwhelmed here. Need to back them off pretty quickly. And there you go, flanked by a field gun here, ace level. Yeah, and as you can see, we get a bit stuck up here in the terrain. Panther panthering betrayed here, Mrs. Sipan. Unfortunate for them. Very fortunately for the Soviets, though. And there you go, we got a throng of Orbsoldat. In fact, Mrs. Sipan's forces are largely down to Orbsoldat now, having lost most of his foot grenadiers at this point. Like that, T-Fed moving in there. Losses there continue to be fairly high on both sides. Storms they're charging in there, ripping apart the engineers without any mercy. Second flak panzer for me because, yeah, 2 Stooks, 2 flak panzers can deliver a lot of firepower versus a variety of targets. Certainly is one of my personal favorite combos. So arguably, I should actually go for double panzer force because the Ostwind does not benefit from the breakthrough bonus, as it only affects cooldown, and the Ostwind actually has reload. So it doesn't quite affect him. Actually, it's reload, it's cooldown. I mean, blah. Makes those run. But our way, the Ostwind doesn't benefit from breakthrough as much as they have gone for 2 panzer force instead. So there's arguably a bit of mistake there for me, but not a massive one. It's still having Ostwind to move really, really fast. It's still really good, but it's not quite as effective as I would like it to be then. Bringing the Ostwinds here, again attacking from the north here, attacking from multiple points to make it hard for the opponent just to lock it down with a single pair of field guns. It's got 2 out. As you can see there, with the other Ostwind from attacking from another angle, only one there is dangerous, unlike the other one to move up behind it. Infantry falling up here as well. Again, notice the multiple angles of attack here, making it harder for Silenthit to just concentrate firepower into one spot. Panzer gun here, field gun, yeah, just tearing to the Ostwind support as well there. Field gun crew, and that is known as the ace little field crew that gets wiped out. Bit of support from other angles. Heavy damage being inflicted on Silenthit. T-Fed for arriving. Armored support there from me, so otherwise a bit lax. Didn't bring in the Stoogs. Definitely a mistake on me. We got more air support here. I'd Bruckler to the support, and there you go. Now Max is moving up with this T-Fed for 5 here. Things are getting pretty wild here, and I'm about to lose a lot more units here as once more we got Max swinging into me here. Pioneer's ring to support as well. Here, Stoogs backing off in the face of the advancing T-Fed 45s. Struggling here with the pathing to get it to do what I want it to. Set the T-Fed 45 here might be making a bit of a mistake. And there you go. We got anti-tank strike there being unleashed on me. And he's driving into it, perhaps, which could allow his own T-Fed 45 there to get... Yup. The main gun got knocked out by his own, I think, anti-tank strike there. Didn't do a lot of damage, did just enough there to knock out the main gun, allowing my Stoogs to secure the kill and both get away there. Flak Panther trying to get away here, but the recruit field gun there from Silenthit knocks it out. But the Stoogs survive, and they're both veteran too, and they both have Schützen. 2 thumbs up. In the south here, meanwhile, Mr. Sipan is once more taking advantage very slowly of Max again, once more going after me like a bloodhound going after a convict. Another T-Fed over there for Max. More troops going up from his base here. Mr. Sipan has lost 1 Panther. Is he going to go for another one? Is he going to go for a Sturmtiger? He's going to try for a King Tiger. I mean, he does technically like have all the structures for it. He's got plenty of fuel, so I would not be ruling out here that Mr. Sipan might be skiing for a King Tiger next. As for Silenthit, he's still fairly short in infantry and tanks. And also feels kind of like, you know, he's more like, you know, set up for like just sitting back and firing off all the artillery. There goes Stormtroopers running in, getting past the Maxim, and good chance of wipe here. Also, Panzerschreck dropped there. In fact, my entire Panzerschreck team got wiped out. Forcing hammer here with the Stormtroopers. Great hit from the T-34-6. I do grab the Panzerschreck at least. Panther 4 on the way for me. As I kind of figured, oh right, yeah, breakthrough. And there we go. We do get a King Tiger out from Mr. Sipan and the German army. 78th Sturmgrenadier Division here being supported by a variety of elements from the 505th Schwere Panzerabteilung and the nearby 7th Panzer Division. Stug forwards here. Panther 4 there also ready. And another break supply line here being attempted. Set. That's going to be something goes slightly wrong here. All these troops being engaged. T-34-6 on the way for Max. There we go. Again, I pop it here, but because I didn't realize at this point it's a court that's connecting it through the south, I don't quite get the full effect here. Like, there's still something happening there, but it's not quite as effective. You can see there, Silenthit knows what's coming, so he's just bailing there while there's still time. You can just hear like troops, get out of here, comrades, before the bombs start falling. Run! Like, he's not there to find out. He's not there to find out what's going to happen next. So yeah, King Tiger moving up here, 2 kills, engaging the Strafbat there with extreme violence. Need to fix up my Stoogs. So yeah, that didn't obviously quite go as well as it could have. And so it also shows how quickly close the pocket can be rendered a lot less effective. I still like the ability though. Panther moving out here for Mr. Sipan and the German army in the southeast. T-45 moving forwards for Max. He's still got the most infantry. He's even got to manage like an orbital machine gun on his penal troopers. He hasn't replaced his guardsmen, and Silenthit continues to operate with very little infantry. I feel like that's a bit of a mistake there by him. Stooks being fixed up. Panther there could do with a penal mounted MG-42. In the south, you better clashing here between Max and Mr. Sipan. Königskrieger there with 2 kills. Up north here lining up for another big flank. Also haven't upgraded these quantities at all. That's a bit of an oversight. Bit of an oversight, to be honest. Finding some more tanks for Silenthit in the south here. We got Max and Mr. Sipan. They're locked in a deadly engagement. The Panther's about to get knocked out here. Rockets, shells flying at it. 75 points up for the Allies up north here. T-Fed forces being pushed back as the King Tiger advances forwards. 2 kills to its name so far. T-Fed forces 6 on the Max command there. Knocked out as an armor-piercing shell cooks off the ammunition. And the engine up north here. They're moving in from north here. Catching once more Silenthit off guard. Stoogs racing forwards here. T-Fed forces 6 about to get knocked out. Panzerforce going for the field guns here. Stoogs charging in for Deutschland. There you go. Another breakthrough. Another blitzkrieg. Infantry flying up here. Half-deck's going to be caught as well here, but he's going to... I'm first going to go for the Katyushas. That's obviously the major priority here. Silenthit here just being torn apart from up north here. Turning on his troops here. Stoogs backing off. Don't want to extend here. Again. And you can see that once more Max is starting to, like, you know, move in forces here. But I can still try and destroy these field guns. Deny them to Silenthit. Center being fought over as well here. And again, breakthrough. Another very powerful ability. Very powerful in the right hands. And certainly also quite a bit of fun. It's also, I think, one of the other reasons I think Encirclement is a really good commander. Like, after they buffed it, it became quite good. Even without it was, like, kind of solid. Like, just mass blitzkrieg and stuff, even like Stoogs, which normally don't have that, is quite good. More Panzer Grenadier for me as Max floods in here. T-34-6 are rolling forwards. In the south here, Mr. Sipan holding out, fixing up the Königskrieger and the Panther. Adding more Orbisoldaten. Got the Maxim there cleared out. We got 228 with 67. Stug backing off here. He managed to survive another engagement and still haven't upgraded machine guns. AC-5 for Silenthit, bringing a tank destroyer to meet the fascists head on. Field setting up here for Max. South side is completely abandoned. As you might notice, they're clearly taking me as the higher priority a lot of the time here. Certainly gives Mr. Sipan a bit more freedom of movement. Here's the thing happening with the Königskrieger. Grab Northern Point. Sturmgeschütze are being fixed up. Stormtroopers going to be setting out. Got the use of forcing out for Silenthit as well. He continues to operate with not a lot of infantry. We've got Max with actually a fair amount of manpower and fuel float. In particular, the manpower float is rather noteworthy. I don't think should be floating that much. I mean, again, going for Guardsmen could be next in addition. More tanks, obviously, once it gets that bit more fuel here. But he definitely shouldn't be floating 800 manpower when they're like, you know, it's 63 victory points. That feels like a bit of a mistake there. And I'm lining up for another push. Again, a sort of sense, okay, they're pretty much focused on the north. So again, I'm going to try for like another attempt at a close to pocket against Silenthit and Max. If they're going to really, you know, put all of the eggs into one, you know, very close to pocketable basket, I'm obviously going to, like, you know, look to just smash all the eggs in the most explosive fashion, you know. Panzerwing 14 gating the Strafbahn out in the open here with Sturmgewehr. We got half HO3 there. Peons being ripped apart here. Lining up slowly but surely. Just need to get that munitions up north here. Artillery fire called in here. And the field gun crew there gets wrecked. The field gun narrowly survives that encounter. 220 versus 55. H5 lining up here. North, we've got troops dug in here for Silenthit, and this time he's actually prepared for northern deep flank there. Thumbs up to Silenthit. There we go, pushing forwards. Going for that point here. Panther drawing 5. Duke's going for the HD5 here. You can see the troops being rushed in the car point here. Almost got the HD5 here. Punch going for the field guns here. Duke takes some hits, but so far dodging most of them. Their low profile does make them a bit harder to hit here. T-Fit forcing push up. We got troops rushing in the car point now here. Punch walk nearby here. I can't just, use break supply line. This time we got artillery fire running in from the lightning gun here. Goodbye landing on nearby conscripts. Got a white man Silenthit's conscripts. Veteran fleet Panzer Grenadier. We got artillery's called in here. Almost got the point. And the Panzer Grenadiers get wiped. A brutal blow there. And I did not get to cut the point off. Also, just losing a veteran 3 Panzer Grenadier squad at this point is quite painful. I was going for the center victory bomb. We got 220 versus 38 here. More infantry for Silenthit again. He keeps his 2 squads of infantry. And we got 3 squads of Warblers here for Mr. Sipan. And the far south here, T for the fast rolling 40 for Max, looking to perhaps launch a breakthrough assault here. Sees back the southern victory point from the fascists. North here, unit wiped by a bomb grenade here. The Soviet casualties continue to just rise. And Max still floats a lot of manpower. He really should be calling in more infantry. He's down to 2 squads. They need to get more aggressive. They need more troops. This is definitely not great by Max. Not great. Like, he's just siphoning off the manpower to somewhere else, like in a nice Dhaka, by the Black Sea or something there. I'm not sure I pronounced that correctly, by the way. Dhaka? Yeah. I admit my Russian isn't particularly great. In fact, it's probably terrible. Max from the center here. Advancing in the center here. We got 218 versus 27. Bit of a broad assault to make it harder for the Max to press them all. Smoke grenade from the stormtroopers. Very nice bit of utility here. Osman again for me. Pitchu strike here pretty much halts that advance in the south here, though Max is swiftly advancing, but at least he called in some gas, but he still has a massive manpower for it. I really think he should be calling in more infantry. And so should Silenthit. He's going for another Katyusha here. We got here Sipan's machine gun being flanked by the T-34 from 6. Königstieg on the move here for Mr. Sipan and for Deutschland. South East, T-35 finally holding up. And there we go. Ostman flak pans out for me to support my mighty Sturmgeschütz and of course my infantry. Meine Truppen. Guardsable and Guardsman, he was the Obersoldaten. King Tiger moving forward C. Panther Reserve. We got 186 versus 27. We got a fuel cache from the cutoff point. Max is doing it, and I'm fairly certain he's only doing it to prevent me from going for close to pocket. As fuel caches on crucial points like ammunition caches are pretty much like one way to deal with it, because that way they have to destroy it first before then cutting off the point there. So they're clearly learning. They're clearly learning. Lining up for northern push here. South here we got Mrs. Pumming forward with the Königstieg and the Panther. Directed in the King Tiger, damage, and we got an anti-tank strike here in the Königstiger. There's could be quite a blow here to Mrs. Sipan, of course, to exchange with me, but no, the Soviet Air Force misses. And the pilot, I don't know, defects to, I don't know where. Probably not North Korea, so that doesn't exist yet. Königstieg is about to get knocked out. And meanwhile here, pushing through the center with the Stugs, flanking the H5 here, gaining the ace level on both Sturmgeschütz, increase the mobility and rate of fire significantly. Up north, the other part of the assault moves forwards here. Again, notice the art of attack from more than one angle. Completely catching Silenthit and Maxi off guard. Cut-off point hit. Flak Panzer there ripping through the northern side. Got a northern victory point here. Using breakthrough to try and grab the point here. Plus a break supply line on the cut-off point here, I think. Yep. Not that it really matters at this point, honestly, but, Rushing forward here with the Ostwind. Actually, I'm going to rush in for the southern points as well to cut those off. Grab the center with the Stugel. He's trying to. Ostwind, meanwhile, is diving straight. We've got the H5 still here from Silenthit firing away there. Fielding up north, they're being pushed away, going for the car point, hoping to hit some of Max's force in the south here. There we go. His units are being cut off. The T-35 could be hit by some nasty stuff here. We'll have to see what accent's being hit. There go the T-35, got knocked out there. And the H-5 is left on fire as well. It is utter chaos and pandemonium. And I went for a half-track. I think that was intended to be part of the assault. It could still be used to support the infantry all the way, though. Chaos and confusion reigns here as casualties keep piling up. Stoogs charging forwards, half-track rushing with the pioneers to the front line here. Almost got the T-34-76 with the Ace Sturmgeschütze. Field gun nearby. Yeah, that's gonna likely cost me the Stug, unfortunately. Waste, really. Down to 9 for them. 8. 7. 6. Still haven't upgraded my Stugs with pintle machine guns. That's definitely a bit of an oversight by me. And we got a Sturmtiger from Mr. Sipan. 4. 3. Fighting for Southern Point as well. 2 or 1 actually, and that's going to be it then. GG. Game over. A brutal fight here with a lot of closer pockets, breakthrough assaults, half-track stormtroopers, pentagoners, and of course the mighty Sturmgeschütz. You know, also a lot of killing and destruction. So there you go. Obviously not perfect play by me, some mistakes here and there, and of course, you know, I probably should have done better to try and match my playstyle with Mr. Sipan's, but I'm just very aggressive in nature. It's simply what I found best with the Wehrmacht. So it can be difficult for me to adapt, and obviously that's something I should work on, but, you know, details as well. Again, I feel like it's a good highlight here. Again, the strengths of Encirclement, Breakthrough, Close to Pocket, I think are very good. Storms, of course, great as well when I don't get them killed, and of course, Stugs are just wonderful, aren't they? So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it. I hope it gives you ESPN matches, some spirit to try some new stuff here. This is ImperialDane. Cheers. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.